Sometimes it's not the big things that put our health at risk, but the small daily habits we barely notice, especially in the bathroom where routine meets vulnerability. Let me gently walk you through 5 things that might be harming you and how to change them without stress. Let's start with something surprisingly common: standing up too quickly from the toilet, especially at night or early in the morning. It may seem like a small thing, but the way your body responds can actually set off a chain reaction that puts real pressure on your heart and brain. As we get older, our blood vessels tend to lose a bit of their flexibility, and our nervous system doesn't regulate blood pressure as quickly as it used to. That means when you rise suddenly, particularly from a sitting or squatting position, your blood pressure can drop sharply. That sudden drop is called orthostatic hypotension. It's one of the big reasons why so many seniors feel dizzy or even faint in the bathroom. And when blood flow to the brain is interrupted for just a few seconds, you increase your stroke risk, sometimes dramatically. I've seen this many times in my work. There's one patient I'll never forget, Harold, 78, from Spokane. He lived alone after his wife passed and was a proud, independent man. One night around 3 a.m., he got up to use the bathroom. He sat, did his business, and as usual, stood up quickly to head back to bed. Only this time the world tilted. He blacked out. When he came to, he was on the floor with a deep bruise on his cheek and a torn towel rack under him. Luckily, he managed to crawl to the phone and call his daughter. When we met at the clinic a few days later, he said, "I thought I was just getting old. I didn't know getting up could knock me down like that." And that's just it. So many folks think these little episodes are just old age, but they're not. They're warnings. Another woman I cared for, Marlene, 82, from Dallas, had a similar experience, only hers happened after dinner. She was feeling fine, got up from the toilet too fast and ended up hitting her shoulder on the cabinet. No head injury, thankfully, but the ER doctor told her next time she might not be so lucky. That's when we started talking about what she could change and how small things really do make a big difference. What often helps is slowing down. I always suggest waiting just a few seconds before standing, especially in the middle of the night. Take a breath, place your hands on a stable surface, like a safety bar or even the side of the sink, and then slowly rise. You can even count to 5 if it helps you stay mindful. If balance is a regular issue, installing a grab bar near the toilet is one of the best decisions you can make. They're affordable and make a world of difference. You don't need to rush your way through life, especially not in the bathroom. Think of your body like an old tree, strong, but with roots that need a moment to steady before swaying. Give yourself those few seconds. Your brain, your heart, and your whole body will thank you. You've earned the right to move gently through your day. The second habit I want to talk about might surprise you: washing your hair by bending over in the shower or over the sink. I know it feels like a small thing, especially if you've done it this way for years, but the truth is, lowering your head below your heart while hot water runs down your neck and scalp can create a dangerous combination. When we bend over, like that, the blood rushes toward the head. And for older adults, especially those with high blood pressure or sensitive blood vessels, this sudden shift can cause dizziness, blurred vision, or even a brief blackout. Add steam and high heat, and it turns into a perfect storm. Your heart works harder to regulate temperature, your brain struggles to maintain steady blood flow, and your risk of a stroke quietly increases, especially if you already deal with hypertension or vascular issues. I still remember when Mary, one of my clients from Tampa, 72 years old and full of life, called to tell me she'd fainted in the bathroom. "It was just a normal shower," she said. "I bent over to rinse the shampoo, and the next thing I knew I was on the floor." She had bumped her shoulder but avoided serious injury. When we talked through what happened, she realized it was something she'd been doing for decades, never once thinking it might become risky with age. Another patient, Ron, 80, from Pittsburgh, had a very similar story. Only in his case, he slipped after standing up too quickly from that bent position. The water was too hot, the bathroom was stuffy, and the moment he lifted his head, he felt faint. That incident left him cautious for months. These stories aren't rare, they're reminders. Our bodies change, and what felt normal in our 40s might need adjusting in our 70s. What I often recommend, and it's made a big difference for many, is using a handheld shower head while sitting. If you can, place a sturdy stool in the shower, stay seated, and gently lift your head only when needed. Keep the water at a warm, not hot, temperature, and make sure the room is well ventilated. You don't need to bend or strain, and if sitting isn't an option, just remember to keep your head level or higher than your heart, especially while rinsing. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean giving up independence. It means being wise about how you move. Think of it this way: you're not being fragile, you're being smart. Like a seasoned sailor who adjusts the sails for the wind, you're simply working with the body you've earned through the years. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Here's another one that catches many people off guard: straining during constipation. It might sound like just an unpleasant bathroom moment, but for older adults it can be much more than that. When you push too hard while trying to have a bowel movement, your blood pressure can spike sharply in a matter of seconds. That sudden strain creates enormous pressure in the chest and head, putting stress on blood vessels, especially those already weakened by age or conditions like hypertension. This kind of pressure can lead to something called a Valsalva response, which briefly slows the heart rate, confuses the blood flow to the brain, and in severe cases can trigger a stroke or even a heart attack. It's one of those habits we don't like to talk about, but we really should, because it's both common and dangerous. I remember Frank from Akron, 78, lively and full of dry humor. One morning he came to my office with a quiet seriousness in his eyes. "Doc," he said, "I think I almost passed out in the bathroom." He had been constipated for a few days and tried pushing through it, literally. He described a wave of pressure in his head, his vision going blurry, and a ringing in his ears. Thankfully, nothing serious happened that time, but tests showed his blood pressure had spiked dangerously during the event. I told him he wasn't alone. Marcia, 75, from Sacramento, had an even more intense experience. She collapsed in her bathroom and was taken to the ER. The doctors later linked it to straining during a bowel movement. She had been on medications that caused dehydration, and she didn't realize how much her digestion had slowed. It was a wake-up call for both her and her daughter, who now checks in regularly about how things are moving. These aren't rare accidents. They're warnings from the body, and they deserve gentle attention. One of the easiest ways to help your body is to stay hydrated and eat more fiber. Fruits like pears, apples with skin, and a handful of prunes can go a long way. Oatmeal in the morning, a bit of olive oil on your dinner, small things help. If that's not enough, I often suggest a natural stool softener or fiber supplement. But always talk to your doctor first. And here's the most important part. If you feel pressure building, stop and breathe. Try not to force anything. Let your body work in its own time. It's easy to feel frustrated with these changes. But just like you wouldn't force a locked door open with your bare hands, don't force your body. You've been through so much, learned so much. Now it's time to be gentle with yourself. With care and patience, even the most uncomfortable routines can become easier. You deserve that ease. This next one is something many people do without a second thought: standing for too long in a hot shower. It's soothing, especially on chilly mornings or after a long day. But for older adults, those long, steamy showers can quietly become risky. Here's why. Hot water causes your blood vessels to widen, which lowers blood pressure. That in itself isn't always bad, but when combined with standing still in a warm, humid space, it can leave you lightheaded or dizzy. Your heart has to work harder to keep blood circulating upward to your brain, especially if you're already managing conditions like low blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease. That combination, heat, stillness, and age-related changes in circulation, can set the stage for a dangerous fall, or worse, a stroke from reduced blood flow to the brain. I think about Nancy, 79, from Omaha. She told me her morning shower was her favorite part of the day. A little bit of peace before the phone starts ringing, she'd say. But one winter morning, things took a turn. After standing in the hot water for almost 15 minutes, she felt her knees buckle. She sat down hard, thankfully not hitting her head, but she stayed on the shower floor for several minutes before crawling out. When we spoke, she was shaken. I thought I was relaxing, she told me, and she was, but her body needed something different. Then there was James, 83, from Portland. His son found him sitting on the edge of the tub, pale and clammy, after noticing the water running for a long time. James had blacked out briefly from the heat and couldn't remember how long he'd been in there. These moments are more common than people think. Long exposure to hot water might feel healing, but for an aging body it can be overwhelming. One simple change I recommend often is using a shower chair. Sitting down during your shower eases the work your body has to do. Keep the water comfortably warm, not hot, and try to limit your shower time to 5 or 6 minutes. Crack the door or turn on a fan to keep fresh air moving. That little bit of ventilation goes a long way in helping you breathe easy and stay alert. And if you ever feel woozy, sit immediately, turn off the water, and take slow breaths. You're not giving up luxury, you're choosing safety. Think of it like adjusting the thermostat in your house. You're not being fragile, you're being smart. Your well-being is worth adjusting for. The shower should be a place to feel refreshed, not at risk. A few small tweaks and it can be both. You deserve that balance. And here's one more habit that often goes unnoticed: brushing off that dizzy feeling you sometimes get after stepping out of the bath or finishing your shower. You know the one I mean. Your head feels light, the room spins just a bit, and you might reach out to steady yourself on the sink or wall. It passes quickly, so most people ignore it. But that small moment can be a big red flag. For older adults, especially those with vascular issues or fluctuating blood pressure, post-shower dizziness can be an early sign that the brain isn't getting enough blood flow. That temporary drop might not seem dangerous at first, but repeated episodes can lead to instability, falls, or even trigger a stroke if the underlying cause isn't addressed. The bathroom is one of the most common places for dangerous falls, and many of those start with that just a little dizzy feeling. I remember Bob from Charleston, 81 years old and still volunteering twice a week at the local library. A kind man with a gentle voice, he told me, during a routine checkup, that he'd had a weird spell a few mornings in a row after his shower. Felt like my legs weren't mine for a second, he said. He always managed to steady himself, but one day he didn't. He fell backward against the bathroom counter, hitting his elbow hard. No broken bones, but the incident left him shaken. When we reviewed his routine, it became clear: hot showers, no water before or after, and no time to rest afterward. Another patient, Lucille, 76, from Phoenix, shared a similar story. She'd feel foggy after stepping out of her bath and blamed it on getting older. But after a near fall, her daughter insisted on a checkup. Turns out Lucille was dealing with mild dehydration and a medication that dropped her blood pressure. With just a few changes, the episode stopped. One easy thing I often suggest is simply giving yourself a moment before you do anything else. After you turn off the water, sit or stand still for a full minute. Wrap yourself in a robe or towel, breathe slowly, and drink a few sips of water if possible. Avoid rushing to get dressed or walk across the room. Those extra 60 seconds can help your body rebalance before you take the next step. And if that dizzy feeling keeps coming back, talk to your doctor. Don't wait. There's no prize for toughing it out. Listening to your body is not weakness, it's wisdom. A dizzy moment is your body whispering to you. Don't ignore it. You've come this far with strength and patience. Keep walking gently with yourself. That's how you stay steady. Iffy. Something today made you stop and think? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear what spoke to you. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so we can keep learning together. And always remember, you're not alone. You're stronger than you think, and life still holds your hand.